All right, buddy. Boy, come here, big man. All right. Good morning, everybody. We are here with Diesel. Now, Diesel is a big old boy. You can see how big he is. He's a big warm blood jumper. One of my favorites. This guy is just so sweet, so quiet. Always just really, really well mannered and easy to, easy to work on. Um, so we're gonna see how he does today. He's on a maintenance schedule with me, so I see him about every 8 weeks or so, and he's always just really, really well mannered and just super easy to work on. This is pretty much how he stands the whole time. Sometimes he can be a little squirrely and just want to move around. So if you watched one of my lives yesterday where I worked on a barrel horse named Speedy, Speedy is great to work on, but he likes to walk around a little bit. And Diesel here can be the same. Once he decides it's time to move, he doesn't think about it. He just leaves. But never dangerous, never mean whatsoever. Just really, 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 really good horse to work on. So when I start my day with Diesel, I know it's going to be a good day. These horses are so filthy now because they have their winter coats in. Oof! Wow, that was a really nice release there in his mid back when I flexed him up. So, oh, the funny little movement with his head there. So I typically will start from their hind end and work my way forward, simply because it's less intrusive to work on their pelvis for them. And then by the time I get up to their head and neck, they're usually pretty nice and relaxed. He just got his stifles and hocks injected in October, so he should be feeling pretty good. Oh, hey, buddy. Good boy. Well, doesn't really like that too much. So maybe he's definitely doesn't seem like an ulcery gelding at all. But whenever a horse doesn't like pressure on their sternum, it's a good idea just to check and make sure that they're not dealing with an ulcer issue, which I don't think he is, but he's definitely sensitive there. That's pretty good. Maybe just something to give the owner a heads up on, just in case. But he feels pretty good. Woof. All right, so you have some sensitivity up at the withers too, which can also in and of itself be an indication of an ulcer problem, because they have nerve artery and veins that run in between each rib, and those nerves originate up here at the spine. So if you have an ulcer that's irritating the nerve that runs in between the ribs, it's called an intercostal nerve, you can get referred pain up to the top line. So whenever you have sensitivity at the ulcer spots and you have sensitivity up at the wither, it's again a good idea to check and make sure that they're not dealing with an ulcer related issue. See that? So he's coming around when I'm putting pressure there. So definitely ouchy. So worth either just having him go to the vet and have the vet scope him and see if he's got some ulcers, or the vet will just do a physical exam and then maybe recommend an ulcer treatment. Many people will just go, oh, it looks like he's got ulcers, so I'll just put him on the medication myself, because they've been there, done that. And they don't want to spend, $400 to have their horse's belly scoped when they're just going to put him on the medications anyway. So, yeah, so he's definitely indicating potential ulcer problems. There we go. So I'm just seeing if he can, there we go, good boy. Seeing if he can rotate around and touch my hand where I'm pushing, and he can do that no problem. He's trying to anticipate here. Let's see. Oh, good boy. That's a good boy. A lot of the horses that I've worked on for a while will start to anticipate what I'm going to ask them to do. So when I get into certain positions, like I was with him like this, he's like, "Oh, I know that one," and then they'll just start going around. Some will just do the whole thing as soon as I put my foot under there, but he's not quite there yet, but he's getting there. All right, let's see. That's a good boy. Hope you're all having a good morning. It's freaking beautiful here. It's probably like 60, 65. A little bit of a breeze, but it's going to be a gorgeous day. Good boy. Oh, is there an ouchie up there, buddy? That's him holding his head like that. He's just resting it on my hand here. Big goofball. Some of these horses, they're so goofy. Either they're goofy or they're just so chill that it's like I can't imagine them going in and performing. Oh, and there's his stallmate saying hello. You might see his nose here in a second. The horse just did that. Let's see here. I'll show you. There he is. It's like, what is that thing? There we go. Awesome, guys. If you don't mind hitting that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. Sitting at a big fat 0 right now. It's kind of weird. Also, if you don't mind hitting the share button, if you're so inclined. Hey, get back. Get. He's gonna hit the wrong button on there in a second. All right, so let me get his head up again. I want to see if he turns away. Easy. See what's going on. Let me see if he's comfortable here. So this is the hyoid up under here, hyoid apparatus, and all the muscles that control the movement of the tongue attached down here, as well as a muscle that goes down to the shoulder, a muscle that goes down to the sternum, and a muscle that goes up to the pole. So we got omohyoid, sternohyoid, and occipitohyoid muscles. So issues at the hyoid, and he's tender, and you can see he's to the side, and I'm just not pressing very hard. If you've got sensitivity there, you can have problems literally anywhere in the body because they have muscles that come all the way down the neck, goes to the shoulder, all the way down the neck, goes to the sternum, and then all the way up here that go to the pole, and any abnormalities up at the pole will result in compensations. And of course, if you've got tight muscles that go to the shoulder, it's going to screw up the opposite hind. It can just show up anywhere. Thank you, Sassy. Appreciate it. Thank you for those 6 of you that hit the like button, guys. Appreciate it. So if I have hyoid sensitivity, and he's fine here, you can see he's no problem there. But under here, he's sensitive. So if I ever see hyoid sensitivity like that, my next place I want to check is the TMJ. And you can see he's a little uncomfortable there as well. I'll check this side too. Not as much on this side. So if you're sore in the hyoid on the right, what I like to do is take their tongues out on the left. So I'll check here, make sure I'm not going to be on or under a canine, and I'm just going to grab the tongue and take it out. Oh my gosh, he is so slimy. That's nasty. But he just ate his grain, so I'm not surprised, but man, that's gross. So I'm just going to grab this thing, and what he's doing is he's trying to pull it back into his mouth. So I'm just holding the tongue out to the side and making him use those muscles that are over here on the hyoid to pull the tongue back in. So we're getting that contraction, relaxation, and as he does that, his tongue muscles will start to relax, and you'll see his tongue start to come out farther and farther and farther. And I'm not pulling or using any more tension on the tongue. See, now he's completely stopped. See? Now it's just hanging out here, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to let that go and then give him a second, and then I'm going to recheck the side and see if his sensitivity is any different. Now, what you see most of the time is that I'll get my hand into position and they'll kind of flinch like they're expecting it to hurt. So they're like, oh, and then they're like, oh, that doesn't hurt. And they'll start bringing their head down and relax. You could see that or hear that the big deep breath. Now his head is nice and low. That's all really, really good signs. So I'm going to get back up under here and check for that sensitivity. And you can see there's nothing. And I'm getting up under there pretty good. So it's the best, easiest fix you can possibly do for an issue with the hide or even a pull, because the vast majority of the time I think that people think their horses have a pull issue. It's actually an issue up underneath at the hyoid. So you fix this, then you fix that. So really, really cool thing to try. Just make sure that if you're dealing with the and you're behind the canines. There we go. Because that hurts if you get your fingers caught between those babies. Mares don't typically have canines, so you're usually okay, but sometimes they can have little ones, so you just want to double check and make sure that those aren't before you do that. Oh, all right, buddy. So there we go. You can see him working on him, how much his head is dropping. Like he was up here before, and now he's way down there. So he's getting more comfortable, more relaxed, getting more into that parasympathetic. All very, very good things. Neurologically, when you can get a horse into that parasympathetic state, it's so good for his mental health. It's amazing for his physical health, because in that parasympathetic state, that's where they heal. That's where they digest their food. It's where they sleep. You know, they're nice and relaxed. They're not stressed out. So if you can get them like this, you'll start hearing a lot more gut sounds. They'll start to create a lot of saliva, and because they start creating that saliva, they'll start to lick and chew and swallow. So I don't think that the licking and chewing response is as important as a lot of other people think. I think it's a great response neurologically, but I don't necessarily think it means that you're fixing anything. It just means that the horse is going from a increased state of stress to a decreased state of stress into that parasympathetic. So good morning, happy text. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in my live again. And you guys, if you guys don't mind just taking a quick second for me and just tapping that like button, I would really appreciate that. Looks like we got 60 folks in here, but only 10 likes. If we could get those up, that would be awesome. So thank you for doing that, if you don't mind. All right, I'm gonna get his legs going here. Oh, there's a nice little release in his knee, which is actually a wrist. Good boy. Oh, there we go. Good boy. Now Diesel here is a show jumper, so lots of tension and stress in his front legs, obviously, because when they land, they come down on their front legs first. So a lot of times in these big jumpers, you'll see some shoulder resistance to this, and you can see him kind of getting a little squirrely. So whenever I have something like that, what I'll do is I'll just start with the leg a little bit lower before I bring it all the way up. And, you know, in an attempt to get him kind of more used to that and comfortable with the stretch. And then I'll bring the leg up higher as he relaxes. So what I'll do is I'll extend the leg, but I'll leave it low like this. And just let him kind of relax into that like this. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. And a lot of the time you'll get some pretty decent releases in the shoulder just by starting at this low position. As long as he doesn't put all his probably 1,400 pounds into it, you're okay. There you go. Good boy. And we can bring it up. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Easy. Easy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, that's beautiful. Awesome. Good boy, buddy. Excellent. That's what I like to see right there. Thank you for all 2 of you that hit the like button since I asked. Oh my gosh. I know, I hate it when people are making videos and they ask you for likes and shares and all that stuff. But it's so important for us because, you know, if we don't get likes and shares, then the platforms don't think that people like your content, so they won't share it. So if you guys can just take a quick what, 1/10 of a second and just tap that like, I would really appreciate it. Rhonda, no, it really doesn't matter. I mean, what I look for after I do the hyoid movement is I definitely want to see some type of sign of relaxation. So whether that's a lick and chew, whether that's a yawn, whether that's the head dropping or a head shake, or the eyes, you know, start to blink, or the face soften up, or they take a deep breath. Like there's so many. You know, the yawns is a great sign, of course, because you'll get the yawning, and then after the yawn, they'll lick and chew. But I don't think that any one of those signs is more important than the other. If I had to pick one, I would say the lowering of the head below the withers probably the most important, because a horse will never have their head below the withers when they're in a stressed fight or flight state. Head below the withers, obviously that's the position that they're in when they're eating because their head is down. It's the position that they're in when they're sleeping. So the head position below the withers, I think, is my favorite. I do love when they yawn, of course, but you know, it's not something that I'm looking for to determine whether or not something that I did was helpful for them or not. Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate that so much. Thank you, guys. You could keep those likes and shares coming. I would really appreciate that. Let me get over here to his other leg. So he feels like he has an old splint injury on this right front, on the medial splint. Ooh, there we go. Nice release in that knee there. Oh, good boy. Good boy. And it is so nice this morning. So you can see how he's kind of pulling back on me here. When I try to bring the knee out, he's just pulling and pulling and pulling. And that doesn't indicate anything wrong with the knee. That actually, wow, big delivery truck just drove by and spooked him. So when they're trying to pull back, when I have that knee flex, put the shoulder up, that's actually telling me that they're stuck in the shoulder in an anterior inferior position. So when they bring the shoulder out like this, what's happening is the humeral head rotates up and back. So it goes this or out. They're literally stuck in the glenohumeral joint. So I have the knee bent, I'm bringing the shoulder out and to pull back because they're trying to release that humeral head up and back. So if you're stretching your horse and you're bringing that leg out and they're not comfortable bringing that out and you feel them kind of pull back on you, just hold tension as much as you can. And when they yank while you're holding tension, you're going to get a big release in that glenohumeral joint. So you're just literally doing a stretch, holding tension, and you'll get that release. So don't let go when they're pulling on it like that. Give them that tension. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to hold here. See how he's pulling back? I'm just going to hold tension here. Good boy. And you'll either get a nice big release or they'll just relax it and let the thing down. Oh. Easy, buddy. Easy. Good boy. He's pulling. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. There we go. Good. Now we're all the way up. Perfect. That's what you want to see right there. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Jessica. All right. Cool. Let's get his hind legs done. I'll start over here because we're already in a good position so you can see this one. And she said that he was tight extending this leg to the rear. So we're going to see if we find anything particular with this side. Oh, there we go. That was beautiful. Man, he's a little jumpy today with the traffic. You can see like right over this. Of course, now that I turn the camera, there's no traffic, but right over that center block wall, there's a main road, and they're just kind of jumpy today with it for some reason. Back. Guys, if you could keep those likes coming, I would really appreciate that. Looks like we've got 16, but there's 40 folks in the live. If you could just take a moment and hit the like button, I would be really appreciative about that. Let's see, let me move this over here. You get a better view of this side of him. There we go. You can see he's nice and head low, super relaxed here. It's beautiful. And that's how a chiropractic appointment should be for you and for them, actually. Like, it should be nice and relaxing. Oh my goodness. Good boy. It should be nice and relaxing. You know, this is a dance. It's something that we're doing with the person or with the animal. It's never... Uh-oh. Are we back? I think we're back. Looks like I accidentally hit the mute button. Thanks, Tex. Sweet. Thank you. All right. So the last thing I like to do for them, just give them a good stretch of their TMJ, and you'll see that he'll use his hung a lot. He'll stretch. Yeah. He'll open that jaw. It'll come all the way over towards me. Good boy. You can watch that round chewing motion and making sure that their teeth are contacting appropriately. I'll check the back teeth, make sure there's no hooks or points or ramps on there. Looks pretty good. Good. And then I'm going to check the other side because they've got two TMJs just like we do. And I want to make sure that that lower jaw comes equally distant towards me as it does when I was on the other side. And you can see him in full extension at his pole, turning the head away from me. All good things. That tongue's coming out. And when he's working that tongue, I know he's working those muscles that I just worked on at the hyoid. So it's a great thing to check. Oh, thank you, Sierra. Appreciate it. Awesome. Hey, we've got about 30 seconds left. If you guys could please hit the like button for me, I'd really appreciate it, guys. And then I'm going to move on to my next horse at a different location. And hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you on a future live. Which research studies you've read that showcase... Well, I'm not going to entertain that question because I obviously know that you're not actually wanting to have a conversation. But you know, the studies that I've what would be more important? So just think about this for a second. I will entertain you this way. What if you had a horse and you had a barrel horse that was running consistent, you know, let's say 20-second barrel patterns, and you had your horse adjusted, and all of a sudden your horse was running 16, 17-second barrel patterns. Whereas the history of the horse, and the entire time you've had your horse, he's run 20, 21-second barrel patterns, and now all of a sudden you've knocked 4 seconds off. But there are no written studies that say that chiropractic for horses is beneficial. Would you stop using a chiropractor even though you saw a 4-second increase in its time just because you can't find any studies that say that it's beneficial scientifically? I would love to have your thoughts about that. Basically, what I'm asking you is subjective data, subjective information, meaning data that you can see with your own eyes, is that more important, or is objective research information more important when it comes to obvious benefits and fits that you can literally see? Is it more important for a scientist to go, oh, this works? Or is it more important for you to have actually subjective evidence that it works because you can literally see it with your own eyes? That's a question that people really have to answer for themselves, because, you know, you're going to convince yourself that something doesn't work with chiropractic. Most of the time it's because people have done to themselves. So rather than going and trying it, or rather than try it on their animals, they're just going to say that it doesn't work, or there's no research, or that it's not scientific. So, you know, that's kind of what I would ask. I mean, you can go on to PubMed.com and read all the articles that show that chiropractic works. And, you know, if it works for humans, it works for animals. We're all neurologic beings with spines. So I don't know why you're face palming, but I've seen plenty of people and questions like that. They're never, you know, authentically asking for me to share research studies. And I'm in a barn working on a horse, so I'm not going to be able to, you know, spout off research studies that I've read from 2004 Mayo Clinic. So anyway, all right, guys, I got to get out of here. Thank you to everybody that's hit the like button for me, and thank you for hanging out during the adjustment. Diesel here looks nice and comfortable, not running away from me. He never does. He's such a good boy. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys on my next live. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.